There I am, first night of tour. I make it through the first song. I get to the second song. I give a nice strum, blammo! The strings fly off the guitar, wrap around my hand. We're gonna skip ahead in the show to the guitar free zone. And I look out at the abyss of expectant faces and I think, oh, fuck me. I just leaned into it and I just started doing jokes. Wagga, 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 wagga. And then we drove the RV through the central corridor of Colorado, the Crested Butte Telluride, Aspen. And as we went from town to town in this circuitous route, we started to hear these rumors everywhere following us. Like a lamb so white was a virus.
At the first death in the state, a woman in her 60s. The governor is telling people to stay away from the high country. In Aspen and Pitkin County, the governor says 9 people have tested positive for coronavirus.
Figure out how this virus is spreading throughout our community. In the meantime, the governor stressed keeping a social distance of 6 to 8 feet.
Joining me now is Colorado Governor Jared Polis.
It might in fact be coronavirus.
We're just outrunning it everywhere we go. And I had a flu like you wouldn't believe. I was frozen and sweating all the time. My throat was like, my head was always going like this. Foom, foom, foom. But the show must go on, and on the Ides of March, I had such a great show. It was one of the greatest experiences of my life. It was the show. The crowd was yelling, "We love you, Zach Powers!" And my daughter came out in my arms to turn the amp off and blow a kiss, but the cops were standing there. And then that was that. Music was a crime. I liken this period of my life to taking my family to the highest cliff that I could find, which was me being a traveling musician. Won't that be great for us all? Sold everybody's belongings and move us into an old RV.
Father and I skip snacks all day long, and he's so hungry, and he always is funny. Oh yes.
That's me! That's me!
Oh baby! Jesus Christ! Oh,
Can I be baby Jesus' sister?
Christ!
Wait, Lama, can I be baby
There is no
Jesus' sister?
You can be
The dad.
You can be the Wait, you can be wait, what's the father's name?
No,
Oh yeah, God.
I don't want to be God.
And they put their hands in mine, and I stood and leapt off into the weightless air. And as we were falling towards the ocean surface below, that presumably would cushion our landing, I saw that as before a tsunami, the sea receded and left the exposed rocks and little flipping fish and seaweed, and we went BAM! It was a surprise. I was a little bit lost after that. Anyway, the next morning we're at a diner with the bands, and it's decided that we're going to go to a 1,000-acre farm in Utah of a friend until we can figure out what the hell's going on the planet. We drive over the mountains and it begins to lightly snow, past the world's largest organism, a birch forest. And evidently a birch tree is not a lone entity, but rather a piece of a root that's come up and becomes a new tree, sort of like bamboo or something. The ranch is stunning when we arrive. A river runs through it, 6 beaver dams, there's crystals laying on the ground everywhere for the kids to pick up and put in their pockets.
Can I take it?
Yeah.
Wow, it's heavy. Whoa, looks like an agate. Whoa.
There's 500 head of cattle, and it's decided that when the ground thaws in a few weeks, we would plant a massive garden. The idea is to put our buses across the dirt access road to the property, so when the masses come from the coastal cities, we can defend ourselves. Start building homes and having children to repopulate the planet after the virus swept away the others. Big plans. We had big plans we were hatching there on that ranch. After about 2 weeks, Marisa is breaking a 25-cent pack of top ramen into 4 sections for the 3 of us to make 2 meals out of. And then she takes the toothpaste and puts a healthy amount of toothpaste onto her toothbrush and begins brushing her teeth. And I say, "What are you doing? That's the last toothpaste we'll ever own." And she says, "We've got to get the fuck out of here right now." And that's exactly what we did. Pots and pans battling off the walls. And we hustled ourselves out of that valley. There was no reception at the ranch, so we really had no idea what was out there, what was going on. Turns out there's a lot of toothpaste awaiting us out there in the world. No people. Everyone else was at home with their blinds pulled, giving each other drunken haircuts and ordering dildos on Amazon, but not us. We go to all the national parks. Ranger stations were empty and the gates were open. We just, nobody to show your pass to or whatever it takes to go to a national park. We were parking on the walkway on the edge of the Grand Canyon. So we go to Zion and Bryce and Joshua Tree and Yellowstone and Yosemite.
Glasses down. Truck in gear. Emergency brake disengaged.
I can do it.
We felt like pilgrims. It was wild. We did that for 6 months. And then we felt like this isn't so fun anymore. We need to settle down. And I had read a book called Into the Wild, and the protagonist of that book, who dies in the end, I remember he found himself in a off-the-grid, lawless place in the Imperial Valley called the Slabs. And I said to Marisa, "We've got to go find the Slabs." I'd read the book 20 years or more beforehand, and I just had this memory of this place, and the description in the book was wonderful. So I thought, let's go there. And as we're driving on to this place called the Slabs, Marisa is looking out, and she looks at me, and she looks back out, and she says, "This is the place that beauty came to die." And we parked in a little piece of desert that could have been ours, I guess, if we wanted it. Scorching. Put our lawn chairs out. We were circled by rabid dogs, like pit bulls foaming at the mouth and dragging one leg. Let's get the fuck out of here. Fleeing that barren hellscape, we've pawned everything that we can pawn. We've been to LA and Seattle and Portland, trying to drum up work. Completely shut. Fucking need work. I said, "Mari, I know a great Italian producer who lives in Miami that I used to work with all the time." And we had been hearing rumors that maybe Florida was a little more easygoing during this period, if you know what I mean.
We'll see. I mean, we don't really know how all these measures work because it's never been tried on American society before. I can tell you it's shady as hell. That's for sure. And as we see this stuff being orchestrated, trying to shove down people's throats, there needs to be pushback, because there wasn't pushback back in March. If they try coming for you on any of this stuff in the state of Florida, you are protected. If you're in another jurisdiction, do not comply with this nonsense. Stand up for your rights and stand up for yourself.
These little rumblings. And Marisa, the beautiful, she said to me, "Oh, I know a great Italian producer who lives in Miami that I used to work with all the time too. I was driving, so Marisa called and said, Michele, are you in Miami? He said, I surely am. They were speaking in Italian, so it was like, it's like a secret language thing that they have. And then she said in English, you know, I'm here with a friend of yours, Zach Powers. And he said, what? How can you? What? You don't know him? How do you know him? And she said, well, I live with him. And he said, we sold the RV to the first person who answered our Craigslist ad for 3 times what we paid for it, and bought the world's greatest family minivan. Had a button that you pushed and the doors opened automatically, leather seats, conditioning for the air, independent on either side and the back. There was a little TV for the children to entertain themselves with their DVDs. And we packed it full of cameras and computers and books and extra shoes and bathing costumes and beach umbrella and stuffed animals. And we lit out from the Oregon coast, bound for Florida.